Korea has launched a bid to secure UNESCO World Heritage status for the fortress walls that once defended Hanyang, the former name of Seoul and the capital of the Joseon dynasty.
국가유산청이 지금의 서울이자 조선시대 수도였던 한양을 방어하기 위해 축조된 한양의 수도 성곽을 유네스코 세계유산으로 등재하기 위해 유네스코 세계유산센터에 신청서를 제출했습니다.
Yes, so the application was submitted, I think recently, the final application after a lot of reviews and revisions following the submission of a draft back in September. So it's been a couple of months that this has been ongoing. UNESCO, together with its advisory board, the International Council on Monuments and Sites, will evaluate the historical and cultural value of the walls and conduct on-site inspection.
Right.
And a final decision is scheduled for July of next year. And if it is approved, these fortress walls around Hanyang will be the 18th UNESCO World Heritage Site for South Korea.
Wow. How long ago were these walls built?
Actually, about 700 years ago, Sue, about 1396. It served as the city's boundary until 1910, right? And
it's amazing.
parts of it still exist. But, Korea, I say South Korea because I think South Korea approves its own World Heritage Sites. But Korea as a whole has 18 World Heritage Sites. I think the first ones were like Seokguram, Haeinsa, Jongmyo. These were the first ones. But they continue to add to the list here. And let's hope that these fortress walls around Hanyang are also approved.
네, 한국의 18번째 세계유산 등재에 도전합니다. 자, 이번에는요, 한양의 수도 성곽을 이 유네스코 세계유산 목록에 올리기 위한 도전이 지금, 이제 일단 신청서가 제출이 됐으니까 도전이 진행이 되고 있는 상황이죠. 결과 발표는 내년 7월이에요. 2027년 7월이면은 최종 inscription 등재가 될지 안 될지 알 수 있게 됩니다. 조선의 수도 한양을 방어하기 위해서 쌓은 그 성곽을 얘기하고 있죠. 영어로는 Capital Fortifications of 한양 이렇게 부르더라고요.
I think that's the official submission that's going in.
네, 좋아요. 자, 표현 좀 보겠습니다. To launch a bid.
Right. So Korea has launched a bid. A bid here would be a sort of effort to achieve something. And we hear this a lot. If you're running for office, you launch a bid.
Sure.
If you're taking over a company, perhaps, or securing a contract, you're launching a bid. And to launch means to start something. So the process has begun. We'll see when what the result will be soon.
Oftentimes to host the Olympics.
Yes.
You have the Olympic bid.
Yes.
동계올림픽이든 하계올림픽이든 그 올림픽을 유치하기 위한 그 유치 행사, 뭐라 그럴까요? 그런 도전 이런 것들도 다 bid라고 표현을 하죠.
Right. And if it's a successful bid, that means you were successful in it. And then you see the IOC president open the envelope and say, Pyeongchang. And then everyone.
Pyeongchang은 뭐예요, 선생님?
That's how he pronounced it. It's very famous,
맞아요. 그렇긴 해요. 네. 네. 자, launch a bid라는 것은 무엇의 유치, 등재를 이제 신청하는 것인데 그것을 공식적으로 시작한다라는 뜻이 되겠습니다. bid가 그런 유치 신청입니다. Now, what about the that once defended, I should say.
Yeah, so these fortress walls defended Hanyang, the former capital of the Joseon dynasty. It once did that, meaning that it doesn't do that right now.
Yeah.
So it formally, in the past, protected the city, with these physical structures like these walls and gates.
한때는 뭐뭐 했다. 그럴 때 once를 활용할 수 있어요. So, for example, let's maybe talk about this area because these buildings, and this building in particular, did not exist at one point.
Right.
Could we use the word once in there and talk about that?
If you want to use it in this structure, you'd say, it once served as whatever purpose. You could say, Gangnam once was all agricultural farmland back in the 1960s and 70s. So in this specific structure, it is a unique structure you see in news written form a lot. But yes, you would use it in that way.
Exactly. 그래요. 그래서 한때는 이라는 뜻으로 쓸 수 있기 때문에 you could say that this building once did not exist.
Right.
But now it does.
Right.
So once, in this area in Ilsan, you didn't see any broadcasting stations. Now you see many.
Right. I once used to walk the streets of Gangnam, and I thought I was the most, the most popular guy in the world, 리즈 시절, if you want to call it, right? So you once were that. 라떼는.
Good for you.
For example.
어,
Yeah.
그래요. 나 때는 정확한 건 아니지만 그래도 이제 한때는이라는
Yes.
뜻으로 네, once를 쓸 수 있죠. 자, 여기서 once it defended 한양이라고 했습니다. 이 성곽이 한때는 이제 한양을 지켰었다 이런
Protected,
뜻이죠.
right.
네. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Korea has launched a bid to secure UNESCO World Heritage status for the fortress walls that once defended Hanyang, the former name of Seoul, and the capital of the Joseon dynasty. Let's move on to the next headline.
The Ministry of Health and Welfare is set to provide a record 1.15 million jobs for senior citizens this year, up about 5% or 54,000 positions from a year earlier after beginning recruitment in December.
보건복지부는 올해 노인 일자리를 역대 최대인 115만 개 공급한다고 발표했습니다. 이는 전년 대비 약 5%인 5만 4천 개가 늘어난 것으로 지난해 12월부터 모집한 참여자를 포함한 숫자입니다.
Yeah, so the ministry here, the Ministry of Health and Welfare, is making a concerted effort to hire older age workers, specifically those age 65 and older, and in certain cases 60 and older for certain roles that began in December. About 880,000 of the 970,000 positions have been filled so far during that month-long recruitment period, and many of the jobs are at community care facilities,
Yep.
totaling over 700,000 positions there. So it's good news for senior citizens, who may have left their initial jobs or the workforce and are looking for a second career
Yep.
in sort of their golden years, right?
Because we're looking at the baby boom generation who are
Yes.
now in that age where we call them senior citizens, and of course a lot of them have a lot of job experience and are well educated. So why not make use of that?
Yeah, in a lot of cases, they still have their health,
Sure.
and they're
Yeah.
still able to work. It's
Of
just that
course.
they don't have the positions to fit them.
네, 그렇습니다. 자, 보건복지부가 발표를 했는데요. 노인 일자리 사업 도입된 그 이래로 가장 큰 규모의 그런 노인 일자리가 이번에 제공이 됩니다. 115만 개가 제공이 되는데, 유형별로 보게 되면은 이제 공익 활동형이 한 70만 개 이상의 일자리가 제공이 되고요. 또 역량 활용형이 19만 개 이상의 일자리가 제공이 되고, 마지막으로 공동체 사업단 또 한 6만 5천 개 정도의 일자리가 이번에 나옵니다. 자, 표현 좀 볼게요. Let's have a look at something is set to provide
Yes.
blah blah blah.
Something, right?
Yeah.
Now, apologies to our writers here, but this is a sort of sentence structure that I do not like personally because in sort of in spoken word, especially in broadcast form, you would not usually use this sort of sentence structure is set to provide. You could just say the Ministry of Health and Welfare will, right?
Yep.
Will provide.
Yes.
And it's a lot easier to understand. But I understand in written form, it's written a lot like that. It's very verbose to say
Yes.
it like that. But it's saying that you're expected or planned or scheduled to provide something in the near future.
그래요. is set to는 뭐뭐 할 예정이다. 그 provide는 제공하는 거니까 제공할 예정이다를 표현한 거죠. 근데 사실상 우리가 조금 더 concise하게 뉴스를 전달할 때는 그냥 will 쓰면 됩니다. The Ministry of Health and Welfare will provide a record 1.15 million jobs. blah 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 이렇게 가면 되겠죠? For who? Who's going to get these jobs? Senior citizens.
Senior citizens,
Yeah.
right. So senior citizens referring to older adults, typically aged 60, 65 or older. And we're usually in the context of retirement, public services, social policy, we use this term, right?
Yes, exactly. Senior citizens 하면은 이제 고령자, 시니어층이라는 의미가 있죠. 그래서 사실은 굉장히 정중하게 얘기하는 표현이에요. 왜냐면 old people 이러면은 좀 기분이 나쁠 수 있어요.
Yeah,
그죠?
it'd be the same in Korean, right? 노인 has a different ring to it, right?
Yeah.
Than 고령자.
늙은 사람. You never say
Well,
that.
Then
그게
then
old person 그러면 그런
right.
느낌이니까.
There are other terms to
그렇죠.
refer to old people, but
그래요,
they're not really respectful terms.
그렇죠. 그래서 의미는 유사하나 느낌이 많이 다를 수 있기 때문에 지금 제가 우리말로도 했을 때 어떤 표현들은 정말 쓰면은 무례할 수 있잖아요.
Yeah.
영어도 마찬가지입니다.
Sure.
Senior citizens가 가장 정중하고 뉴스에서도 많이 쓰는 표현이고 고령자, 노인이라는 의미로 보시면 되겠네요. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The Ministry of Health and Welfare is set to provide a record 1.15 million jobs for senior citizens this year, up about 5% or 54,000 positions from a year earlier, after beginning recruitment in December.
Ukraine has reported widespread power outages across its grid due to a technical malfunction affecting international power lines as the country faces a harsh winter and intensified Russian attacks on energy infrastructure that have disrupted heating, electricity, and water supplies in recent weeks.
우크라이나 곳곳에 대규모 정전 사태가 발생했습니다. 이번 피해는 인접 국가와 연결된 고압 송전선에 이상이 생긴 탓으로 우크라이나가 최근 몇 주 동안 강추위는 물론 에너지 시설을 타격한 러시아군의 집중 공격으로 난방 전기 및 수도 공급에 차질을 빚고 있던 가운데 발생했습니다.
Yeah.
Right, tell us about the dire situation in Ukraine right now.
Yeah, so this war between Russia and Ukraine has, believe it or not, been going on for nearly 4 years now, and it's affecting not just the two countries, but neighboring countries as well. In this case, a shutdown of a power line that sort of links other countries, specifically Romania and Moldova,
Right.
were affected. And this led to an emergency shutdown of Moldova's energy system over the weekend. And of course, this comes amid recent Russian attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, which have caused major disruptions in heat, electricity, water. And this winter has been specifically harsh, so it's a sort of dire situation in the country right now.
Oh, definitely. 벌써 러시아가 우크라이나를 침공한 지가 4년이 됐습니다, 여러분. 2022년 2월에 러시아가 침공을 했었는데요. 그때부터 이렇게 겨울마다 에너지 시설을 포격하고 있습니다. 근데 이번 같은 경우에는 더욱더 혹독한 겨울인데다가 굉장히 많은 피해가 발생해서 미국의 중재로 일단은 이제 러시아가 공격을 중지하겠다라고 했지만 이미 발생한 이런 공격들, 공습으로 인해서 최근에 이제 우크라이나와 또 근처에 있는 나라들을 잇고 있는 고압 송전선에 이상이 생겼고 그로 인해서 뭐 지하철 운행이 중단되고 그다음에 정전 발생하고 또 많은 집에서는 난방 공급을 받지 못한 게 사실 그게 제일 큰 문제겠죠.
Yeah.
너무나 추운데 이번 주 같은 경우에는 몇몇 지역은 영하 30도까지 내려간답니다.
It's also their metro system that was temporarily closed because of this power outage. And
Yeah.
nearly 1 million passengers use it daily in Ukraine.
A million passengers. Oh my goodness.
Kyiv.
그래요. 자, 그러니까 이제 수도 키이우에서 한동안 지하철 운행이 전면 중단됐었는데 상당히 많은 사람들이 이로 인해서 큰 피해, 또 혼란이 빚어졌다고 얘기하고 있습니다. 표현을 볼게요. What's the grid here?
Yeah, so in this case, we're talking about the power grid, right? Grid is a network
Yeah.
of connected systems or lines that work together. And when we talk about the power grid, we're talking about the entire power or energy infrastructure, right?
그러니까 뭐 철조망이라든지 이렇게 엮여 있는 것들을 다 그리드라고 우리가 부르기는 하는데 여기서는 그런 물리적인 망이라기보다는 electricity grid, 전력망을 얘기하고 있는 거죠. What about harsh weather conditions?
Yes, so if something is harsh, Harsh, it means it's very severe or extreme and not in a good way, right? We're talking about conditions of something. So in this case, a harsh winter, a teacher can be very harsh on their students. The weather can be very harsh in some ways, like the sun, if it's very hot.
혹독하다, 가혹하다. Harsh, harsh. 자, 그럼 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Ukraine has reported widespread power outages across its grid due to a technical malfunction affecting international power lines as the country faces a harsh winter and intensified Russian attacks on energy infrastructure that have disrupted heating, electricity, and water supplies in recent weeks. Right, let's move on to the next headline.
A new social network that allows AI agents to communicate with one another without human involvement has both fascinated and unsettled the tech world, with tens of thousands already using the platform to share their tasks and the problems they have solved for human users.
사람의 개입 없이 인공지능 에이전트들만 가입해 서로 대화하고 정보를 교환하는 전용 소셜미디어가 등장해 IT 업계에서 놀라움과 우려를 동시에 자아내고 있습니다. 소식에 따르면 이 SNS에는 이미 수많은 AI 에이전트가 가입해 자신들이 수행한 업무와 인간 사용자를 대신해 해결한 문제들을 공유하고 있는 것으로 알려졌습니다. 우선 여러 가지 좀 기술적인 용어들이 나오고 있어서 그걸 설명할 필요가 있을 것 같은데요. AI agent라는 게 뭔지부터 간략하게 설명을 좀 드릴게요. 이제 지능형 소프트웨어 시스템이라고 쉽게 말하면은 생각하실 수 있는데, 우리 인간이 설정한 목표를 달성하기 위해서 이 AI가 스스로 데이터 작업을 하는 그런 소프트웨어 시스템을 AI agent라고 합니다.
Right. So, like, if you think about agent, what an agent does or an agency, they work on behalf of you, right? So, these AI agents are working on behalf of humans. That these sort of social network, it's called Moltbook, right? And it's
Yes.
working on behalf of humans because they're human built, they're human directed, but it sort of manages itself. So that's kind of where this is going. And it's sort of a Reddit style social network. And it really is interesting, but it's also scary. Again, we were talking about this at the beginning, the sort of potentials of AI, right?
그래요. 이 AI 에이전트들끼리 이제 대화를 하고 정보를 교환하는 그런 이제 소셜 네트워크입니다. 이름은 Moltbook인데요. 거기에서 공상과학 이야기도 서로 만들어내고, 그 다음에는 어떤 이제 가상의 상황을 서로 이제 얘기하면서 이러면 어떨까, 저러면 어떨까, 이런 대화도 나눈다고 합니다. 그래서 좀 무섭기도 하고, 놀랍기도 하고, 그런데 이걸 만든 것 자체는 인간이죠.
Yep.
이런 소셜 네트워크를 만든 게. 근데 이 용어도 좀 보고 싶어요. 선생님, 소셜 네트워크가 여기서 쓰였는데, 우리가 보통, 우리가 많이 사용하는, 인스타그램이라든지 아니면은, 뭐가 있죠 또?
Facebook?
네, 그런 것들.
Sure.
네, 갑자기
Yeah.
생각이 안 나는데, 그걸 보통 소셜 미디어라고 하잖아요.
Sure.
소셜 미디어하고 소셜 네트워크의 차이.
Well, I think you can use it interchangeably, especially in a headline like this. We know when you say social network, we're talking about social media specifically, but social network, if you want to define it broadly, just our sort of, if we are, we're peers, we're colleagues, we're friends, this is also your social network. So it doesn't have to be on a media platform. So social media is all social network, but not all social networks are social media. Does that make
그겁니다.
sense?
네, 네, 맞아요. 그렇죠. Social media is the smaller term, I guess. 그래서 소셜 미디어라는 이름이 우리 인스타그램이나 페이스북이나 이런 거에 붙은 이유는 거기 안에 실제로 우리가 영상을 올릴 수가 있고요. 스트리밍을 할 수 있고 어떤 미디어의 역할을 하잖아요. 그래서 소셜 미디어라고 우리가 부르지만 소셜 미디어는 소셜 네트워크의 일부입니다. 지금 선생님과 저의 이런 인간 관계망도 소셜 네트워크인데 우리는 소셜 미디어는 아니에요. 그죠?
We're not friends on social
아니,
media?
우리 소셜 미디어에서 친구지만
We are.
우리의 관계는 지금
Right.
소셜 미디어라고 부르진 않죠.
Exactly.
우리의 관계는 소셜 네트워크라고 부르죠.
Right.
그런 것처럼 이 상위 개념이 소셜 네트워크라면은 하위 개념에 소셜 미디어가 있다고 보실 수 있겠고.
Right. It's like all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs.
Exactly.
Yes.
네, 네.
Okay.
자, 그래서 이 AI 에이전트들끼리 대화하는 그런 소셜 네트워크가 이번에 생겼습니다. 그렇지만 자기들끼리 뭐 영상을 올리거나 뭐 스트리밍을 하거나 이러는 건 아니잖아요. 대화를
No
하면서
selfies, AI selfies going up?
사람이 아니니까.
No, okay.
네, 그렇지만 어쨌든 they post messages, they comment on each other, they vote, and they create sub communities. There's no human intervention. 인간이 개입하지 않아요.
Yeah, no human involvement, right? As the headline says, meaning there's no direct participation by
Sure.
humans.
그렇죠. Involvement or intervention both mean 개입. What about to be fascinated and unsettled at the same time.
Yeah, so these are two contrasting sort of ideas, right? It means you have mixed sort of emotional reactions. There's this strong interest and curiosity. That's the fascination of it.
Yep.
But it's also unsettling. It's uneasy or uncomfortable in a
Yeah.
way because it's also a little scary, right?
It's fascinating. Wow, 대단하다. But it's 좀 불편해. Unsettling.
Yeah.
이런 거죠. 두 개가 동시에 느껴지는 그런 현상이라고 할까요? 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A new social network that allows AI agents to communicate with one another without human involvement has both fascinated and unsettled the tech world, with tens of thousands already using the platform to share their tasks and the problems they have solved for human users. Now let's move on to the final headline.
The first check from Apple's original bank account, a $500 Wells Fargo check marked number 1, sold at auction for a staggering $2.4 million, setting a record as the highest price ever paid for a signed check at public auction.
애플의 최초 은행 계좌에서 발행된 제1호 수표인 $500짜리 웰스파고 은행 수표가 경매에서 240만 달러, 우리 돈으로 약 35억 원에 낙찰됐습니다. 이는 지금까지 공개 경매에서 판매된 서명 수표 중 가장 높은 금액입니다. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so do you remember the era of when people wrote personal checks? I guess
Yes.
we should sort of explain this to not just the Korean listeners, but a lot of the younger listeners
Okay.
because it's a little different from supyo because I think in Korea we used to use bank checks, right? These were bank issued checks, supyo, and if you had to use them, you had to sign the back of it to validate it. But in the US, in Canada, we used personal checks, and basically it's a blank piece of paper and you write out the name and you write out the amount and you sign it. And believe it or not, people still in the US use personal checks.
Oh, wow.
Like at the supermarket and stuff. But it's fascinating to know what Apple's very first expense was, and it says number 1 because all the checks have serial numbers on them. And this check was actually made out. That's how we say it. Made out to a person named Howard Canton, and this was a printed circuit board designer who translated Apple's, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak's Apple I schematic back in 1976. So that check, still around, has sold at auction for over $2.4 million.
그래요. 애플 역사상 가장 중요한 금융 문서라고도 부를 수 있는데요. 이게 이제 하워드 캔틴, 디자이너 하워드 캔틴 앞으로 발행이 됐습니다. It was made out to Howard Canton. 그리고 누가 사인을 했느냐? 서명은 바로 스티브 잡스와 스티브 워즈니아크가 사인을 했어요. 이게 자세히 보게 되면은 스티븐 잡스 and Steve Wozniak 이렇게 사인이 되어 있네요.
That's how it's made out to be.
네네. 그래요.
Interesting.
왜냐하면 스티브 잡스의 이제 본래 이름은 스티븐 잡스니까. 자, 그래서 어떻게 보면은 잡스와 워즈니악 사이의 실질적인 첫 사업 거래라고도
Yes.
볼 수
First
있는.
expense in a way,
그럼요.
yeah.
굉장히 의미가 있는 그런 애플 최초의 수표인데요. 35억 원에 낙찰이 됐습니다. 자, 여기서 제가 또 낙찰할 때 꼭 나오는 표현을 언급을 한번 해보고 싶은데 The check sold at auction. 이런 표현입니다.
Yeah.
자, 예를 들어서 우리가 근데 뭐 마트에서 물건이 팔렸다 할 때는 이런 표현을 쓰지 않아요. The banana sold at the supermarket. 이렇게 하지 않아요. 그렇죠? The banana was sold at the supermarket.
Right.
Or I sold a banana. 이렇게 표현을 하지. 그런데 경매에서는요. 아주 독특하게도 the check sold at auction or the CD sold at auction for how much?
Yeah, it's an expression that's unique to an auction transaction,
맞아요,
right?
맞아요.
Yeah.
그래서 언뜻 보면 이거 grammar
Error.
error
Yeah.
아니야?
No.
근데 그거 아닙니다. 네. 자, 여기서도 나왔죠. 물론 이제 시제는 좀 바뀔 수 있어요. have sold 할 수 있고 그냥 sold 할 수 있는데 중요한 건 비동사가 안 들어간다는
Yeah,
겁니다.
you can do future tense too. Will be sold at auction
Or
next week.
will sell at auction.
Or will sell at auction.
이렇게 할
yes.
수도 있죠. 네, 네. 자, 표현도 좀 볼게요. A staggering amount.
Yeah, if something is staggering, that means it's astonishingly large and intense, almost to the extreme of you're in awe, right?
Yeah, it's staggering. 와, stagger라는 거 자체는 뒷걸음질하면서 이렇게 조금 움직이는 거가 staggering이거든요.
Right.
너무 놀래서.
You're taken aback. Yeah.
그러니까 그만큼 엄청나다, 놀랍다라는 뜻이에요. 이 240만 달러라는 금액이 엄청나기 때문에 a staggering 2.4 million dollars. 그다음에는 setting a record.
Right. To set a record, you're achieving a new height or low in something. And I think it's important to note you set a record as something, right?
as 그렇군요. 자, 이러이러한 기록을 세운다. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The first check from Apple's original bank account, a $500 Wells Fargo check, marked Number 1, sold at auction for a staggering $2.4 million, setting a record as the highest price ever paid for a signed check at public auction. Well, that's it for the 5 headlines this morning with Shane Harm.
Golden, featured in the Netflix animated film K-pop Demon Hunters, has opened a new chapter for K-pop by securing its first ever Grammy win, earning Best Song Written for Visual Media at the 68th Grammy Awards.
넷플릭스 애니메이션 영화 K-pop 데몬 헌터스의 주제가 골든이 제68회 그래미 어워즈에서 Best Song Written for Visual Media 부문을 수상했습니다. K-pop 창작진이 그래미상을 받은 것은 이번이 처음입니다. Right, tell us more. That's good news.
Well, very good news. Golden got a Golden Grammy. Yes, local time Sunday night, our time Monday morning. It was a big deal. And so I think EJ, Park Hong-joon and 24 are going to be very, very happy. They're the writers of the song. And it's also a big success for K-pop fans and the K-pop industry because it's the first K-pop track to get to number 1 in the US and the UK, both topping the Billboard Hot 100 and the official singles Top 100 in the UK. And it was a big deal for K-pop in total because it wasn't just K-pop Demon Hunters. It was also Rosé and Bruno Mars singing Aparte. They were up for Best Pop Duo Group Performance. And so were Cat's Eye with Gabriella, along with Golden. Sadly, no K-pop win there. But we did get one, Sue. One win.
Yeah. The other songs that you mentioned there and the songwriters, they were nominated, but they didn't win. However, of course, Apatu was the opening act
Yes,
of
and
the
it
Grammys.
was brilliant.
Yeah,
And I have to say, Rosé's dress was stunning. I don't know whether you saw the red carpet. Really looked very glamorous.
그래요. 자, 제 68회 그래미 시상식에서 K-pop songwriters EJ, 테디, 또 24 아이디오가 상을 받았습니다. 테디의 이제 본명이 박홍준이어서 아까 그렇게 얘기를 해주셨던 것 같아요. 네, 그렇습니다. 그래서 K-pop 송라이터와 프로듀서들이 이 그래미상을 받은 것은 처음입니다.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. I compare it to when Parasite won the Oscar. It feels like it's a sea change.
그래요. 물론 한국인들이 그래미를 받은 적은 있어요.
네.
예전에 이제 1993년도에 소프라노 조수미 씨가 그래미상을 받았었고 또 2012년과 2016년도에는 레코딩 엔지니어 황병준 씨가 그래미상을 받은 적도 있는데 자, 이번에는 이제 K-pop의 songwriters and producers가 받는 상입니다. Best Song Written for Visual Media. 그래서 이거는 노래 부른 사람이 아니라 노래 만든 사람들에게 주는 상이죠. 그래서 굉장히 의미가 있고 어제 굉장히 많은 우리 방송에서 골든 노래 들으셨을 것 같고
네.
뭐 계속 들리죠, 사실은.
We've been playing it for the past 6 months.
It's inevitable. You can hear it everywhere. 너무 좋습니다. 굉장히 기쁜 소식 전해드리면서 표현 볼게요. Open a new chapter.
Yes, if someone opens a new chapter or something opens a new chapter, it means it helps the start of something new. It helps us begin a new journey, or in this case, it helps K-pop begin a new journey. The idea that we're starting a new part of our life. Because like books in the opening, well, books have chapters too. Life has
Exactly.
chapters. So I opened a new chapter when I moved to Korea, for example.
You did. 새 시대를 열다, 새로운 챕터를 열다. Open a new chapter. 자, 다음으로 상을 받았다라는 뜻인데 secure a win. 이렇게 썼어요. What does that mean?
To secure a win means to get a win, to win a win, to get it. But it's the idea that maybe it was hard fought for, it was difficult to get, but you still got it in the end. You'll see this used for sports a lot, but also for award ceremonies.
그렇죠. 자, 무언가를 확보했다는 secure가 쓰였고요. 그 다음에 명사 win이 붙습니다. secure a win이라는 게 쉽게 말하면 상을 받았다라는 뜻이죠. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Golden, featured in the Netflix animated film K-pop Demon Hunters, has opened a new chapter for K-pop by securing its first ever Grammy win, earning Best Song Written for Visual Media at the 68th Grammy Awards. All right, let's move on to the second headline.
Online shopping sales in Korea rose 6.2% from a year earlier to a new monthly high in December to reach over 24 trillion won, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics, marking the highest level since 2017 when the ministry began compiling the data.
지난해 12월 국내 온라인 쇼핑 거래액이 전년 같은 기간과 비교해 6.2% 증가하면서 24조 원을 넘어섰습니다. 이는 관련 통계가 작성되기 시작한 2017년 1월 이후 월간 기준 최대치에 해당합니다. Tell us more.
It's fantastic news for online shopping. It was 24.29 trillion won
Yeah.
in December, and that was up by an astonishing 1.42 trillion won from the previous year, from the previous December. We've only got records since 2017 when they began compiling the data,
Wow.
but it shows there are these big jumps happening. Automobiles, auto accessories, cars and their gadgets were up by 66.4% on year. Food services, they were up 9.1%. And food and beverages themselves were up by 10.2%. As for smartphones and mobile devices, they weren't quite so high, but they still rose to 6.2%, which is a new record at 18.8 trillion won. So good news all round for online shopping.
네. 자, 작년 12월 기준입니다. 국가데이터처가 발표했고요. 2025년 12월 온라인 쇼핑 동향 보고서에 따르면은 작년 12월에 온라인 쇼핑 거래액이 24조 2,904억 원이었다고 합니다. 역대 최대치인데요. 이제 뭐가 제일 많이 늘었냐? 퍼센티지 상으로 봤을 때는 자동차와 자동차 용품 관련된 제품들의 쇼핑을 상당히 많이 했네요. 66%나 늘었어요. 물론 이제 절대금액으로 봤을 때는 한 세 번째 정도로 많은 거기는 한데요. 퍼센티지로는 상당히 많이 늘었습니다. 음식 서비스 같은 경우 우리가 이제 온라인으로 음식 뭐 장 보고 이런 거 많이 하잖아요.
네.
많이 사잖아요. 그래서 이제 9% 정도가 늘었는데 액수로 보면은 상당히 많이 늘었어요. 3천억 원 이상이 증가한 모습입니다. This is all compared to the same period a year ago.
Yes, so people are shopping more and more online, and I have to say I'm one of them.
Oh, me too. I think we all are. We all shop online. What is a new monthly high?
Well, it means one, it's higher than ever before. It's a new record.
Yeah.
And a monthly high means it's the number that we get every month. So in this case, we were looking at December, but we'll also get the records for January, February, March, April, and so on. So a monthly high is, or a new monthly high is the highest number it has been for a month for that period of time.
그렇죠. 월간 데이터, 월간 수치상으로 봤을 때 네, 최고치다. A new monthly high. 새로 경신된
네.
월간 최고치. Now, when we talk about stats and numbers and data, we
Yes.
often have the verb to compile.
Yes, and it simply means to put them together, to add them up, to get from different sources and then put them into one big thing.
그렇죠. 데이터를 모으다 할 때 그 모은다라는 의미가 있습니다. 좀 다른 말로 하면은 취합하다가 될 수도 있는데요. 이런 게 이제 숫자라든지 목록, 데이터 이런 것들을 모을 때 compile를 씁니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Online shopping sales in Korea rose 6.2% from a year earlier to a new monthly high in December to reach over 24 trillion won, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics, marking the highest level since 2017 when the ministry began compiling the data.
The southern US state of Florida experienced rare snow flurries, freezing temperatures, and record breaking winter conditions over the weekend, leaving icicles hanging from fountains and cold, stunned iguanas falling from trees.
지난 주말 미국 남부 플로리다 주에 눈발이 날리고 기온이 영하로 떨어지는 등의 기록적인 한파가 찾아오면서 분수대에 고드름이 달린 모습과 추위의 기절에 나무에서 떨어진 이구아나들이 곳곳에서 목격됐습니다. Alright, well, tell us more.
The Sunshine State was a lot cooler than usual, and in fact, the whole of America has been suffering. I think more than 100 people died after the past couple of weeks, where they had these monster storms going across the country, and Florida was also affected. It went down to -4 degrees, and that's the lowest temperature they've had in February in Orlando since, well, 1923, over 100 years ago. Usually it's a high of 23 degrees and a low of 12, which sounds quite nice at the moment. But no, very, very cold. And what's interesting is that in the UK, when it rains a lot, we say it's raining cats and dogs. In Florida, when it gets very cold, they don't say it's raining cats and dogs, they say it's raining iguanas. Because
Do they
it
really say
literally,
that?
well, they literally rain down from the trees. It
Right,
actually
right.
happens. So this
Yeah.
phrase is used because it's
Oh,
when these
wow.
iguanas, the poor things, they're cold-blooded. They're reptiles. So they need the sun's warmth. And when they're not getting it, well, they become sluggish. They can't move and they lose their grips on
Yeah.
the trees and they fall to the ground. And if you're standing underneath one, well, it could get messy.
자, 지금 초강력 한파로 기온이 뚝 떨어진 미국인데요. 특히 플로리다 같은 경우에는 따뜻하기로 잘 알려진 주임에도 불구하고 플로리다에서도 지금 영하권까지 기온이 뚝 떨어졌습니다. So what was the nickname of Florida again?
The Sunshine State, I believe it's called.
그러니까요. 그러면 이제 햇빛이 연상된 따뜻한 주
네.
이런 닉네임에서부터가 그런 느낌인데 그것과는 완전히 대비되는 날씨를 지금 겪고 있습니다. 특히 이구아나가 기절하는 일들이 지금 발생한다고 하는데 이게 사실은 무슨 일이 발생하는 거냐면은요. 이렇게까지 날씨가 추우면은 0도 가까이 날씨가 기온이 떨어지면은요. 이구아나가 일시적으로 이제 휴면 상태에 들어간다고 해요. 근데 그게 이제 오랫동안 휴면 상태에 들어간 게 아니라 이제 몸에 여러 가지 기능들이 작동을 하지 못하기 때문에 기절하는 거라고 볼 수 있겠죠.
네.
근데 이게 하루 이상 계속되면은 폐사할 수도 있다고 합니다. 그래서 빨리 날씨가 따뜻해지면 다시 깨어나요. 그래서 그러면은 괜찮은데 the problem, of course, is that the cold weather is expected to continue.
Yes, hopefully for the iguanas, Florida will warm up. But certainly, I've had one friend whose flights were delayed. She was trying to get back to Europe, and everything was cancelled in Washington D.C.
goodness.
Other places, yes, people have been snowed in. There are people who've lost electricity. All sorts of
right.
things going on. It makes me very glad that here in Korea, even when it gets very, very cold, the country still keeps going. We haven't experienced this kind of disastrous condition after snowstorms and weather like that.
Exactly. Well, Florida is experiencing this very rare snow flurry and other cold conditions. Let's have a look at the word experience.
Yeah, if we experience something, we're going through it. We're living through it. It can be positive or negative. If it's more negative, we could use words like surviving it or enduring it or bearing it. But you can experience happy moments too, like experience the most wonderful day in your life.
경험하다, 겪다. Snow flurry는요, 이게 흩뿌리는 눈, 흩날리는 눈을 얘기하고 있습니다. 그래서 그 이름 비슷한 아이스크림도 있잖아요. 그게 그 모습이 연상돼서 그렇고요. 자, what about cold, stunned iguanas?
Well, we talked about the iguanas fainting and falling off the trees.
Yeah.
That's what the cold, stunned bit is. Because if you're stunned, one meaning that we use for people is shocked or surprised,
Right.
but the original meaning is to literally be to lose control of your senses or to lose control of your body.
Exactly.
And why? Because of the cold. Therefore, it's cold-stunned.
cold로 인해서 stunned가 된 것인데 stunned라는 게 원래는 이제 깜짝 놀라서 기절한다는 의미가 있거든요. 우리가 this is stunning 이라고 했을 때도 기절할 정도로 아름답다 아니면은 놀랍다라는 의미로 많이 쓰는 것인데 여기선 말 그대로네요. 이구아나들이 실제로 기절을 했으니까.
네.
추위로 기절한 이구아나들. Cold, stunned iguanas. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The southern U.S. state of Florida experienced rare snow flurries, freezing temperatures, and record-breaking winter conditions over the weekend, leaving icicles hanging from fountains and cold-stunned iguanas falling from trees. Okay, let's move on to the next headline, another weather-related story.
Heavy snow has blanketed northern and western Japan, burying cities under record snowfall and prompting official warnings, as Aomori Prefecture recorded 183 centimeters of snow in a single day, the fourth highest total ever observed.
일본 북부 및 서부에 내린 폭설로 많은 도시가 기록적인 눈더미에 파묻히고 관련 특보가 연이어 발효된 가운데 이 중 아오모리 현에서는 하루 적설량이 183cm에 달해 관측사상 네 번째로 많은 수준을 기록했습니다.
That's as tall as me, Sue, in one day.
Oh my goodness.
A paul's worth of snow in a single day. It certainly is record worthy. It's
Yeah.
across the country, certainly in western regions, in Kyoto, was also in Niigata Prefecture. They've had a lot of snow. Onuma City had 273 centimeters of snow. Sumon, that district had 279 centimeters of snow. And it's all to do with this strong winter pressure pattern and cold air that's sweeping across the region. And it's giving them double the usual amount of snow, double the average. So it's all about moisture, it's all about the humidity, it's all about this pressure pattern, it's all about the cold air creating, well, this perfect snowstorm.
There's been a casualty as well because of a person who tried to clear the snow on his own,
Yes.
unfortunately. And because of that, of course, the region and the government there is on high alert. It says in the article, in the headline, that this weather condition has prompted official warnings.
Yes, I work in theatre where the use of a prompt is, well, quite common. And a prompt is when someone gives you a nudge or a wink or a hint as to what your next move or your next line may be.
Right.
And we use the word prompt, when something prompts us to do something else. It's like it's telling us to do it. It's giving us a warning or giving us a sign or making us react to it in some way.
Right.
So we often use it for natural disasters, or it could be for politically unstable situations. Something will prompt the government to do something, to take action, or to issue a warning.
네, 어떤 일이 발생하게끔, 어떤 행동을 취하게끔 하는 그 원인이 되는 것을 이제 the 원인 prompted something to happen
Yes.
이렇게 표현을 합니다. 여기서는 지금 워낙에 눈이 많이 오다 보니까 여러 가지 이제 경고가 내려지고 지금 warnings라고 얘기를 하고 있는데요. We're talking about 주의보라든지 경보라든지 이런 것들 다 발효가 되고 있는 상황을 얘기하고 있죠. To prompt, 그러니까 뭔가 촉발하다라고 또 해석을 할 수 있습니다. What about in a single day?
Well, in just 24 hours or less. We can say in a day, but when we say in a single day, we're giving it greater emphasis. We're making a point that this happened in a much shorter period of time than usual.
그렇죠. 단 하루 만에 이런 일이 있었다라는 얘기인데요. 이 아오모리 프리펙처에서는 183cm의 눈이 여러 날에 걸친 게 아니라 하루 만에 이렇게 쌓였다. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Heavy snow has blanketed northern and western Japan, burying cities under record snowfall and prompting official warnings, as Aomori Prefecture recorded 183 centimeters of snow in a single day, the fourth highest total ever observed. Let's move on to the final headline.
An increasing number of people in the US are raising Cuban spikies, an isopod species found mainly in Caribbean coral reef and coastal regions, as pets, prompting concerns about the impact on their natural habitat.
카리브해 산호초지대나 해안가 근처에 주로 서식하는 등강류인 쿠바 스파이키를 미국에서 반려동물로 기르는 사람들이 많아지면서 이들의 서식지 생태계가 파괴될 수 있다는 우려가 커지고 있습니다. Tell us more. First of all, what is a Cuban spiky?
Well, first of all, the Cuban spiky is very, very cute.
It is.
Second of all, it's an isopod. The closest thing, the most familiar thing, I think, for us would be a woodlouse.
공벌레.
Yeah. So these are insects that have a shell, and they have a segmented shell, which means they can roll up into a ball. And isopods are all the same. They have that common feature. The Cuban spiky is very similar. It's sort of orangey yellow
Yep.
with two little cute eyes and two little cute antennas,
There they
and
are.
has that same shell-like form. So it's very cute and very lovely, and people, well, want to get their hands on them. And they're very expensive. Usually they'd be around $350, but they're going for as much as $850 per Cuban spiky at the moment.
Right.
The issue is where they're getting them from. Because their natural habitat is actually in a protected nature reserve area in Cuba. So there have been people warning of illegal captures of Cuban spikies, of people going in and taking them out of their habitat when they should not. And if they take them out, and if these spikies become extinct, well, they're really important in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
They eat up all the trash, all the debris. They keep the ecosystem healthy. And also they're food for all other animals.
Exactly.
So, yes, they look lovely, but they deserve to stay where they are, in Cuba.
네, 요즘에 이제 미국 젊은 층 사이에서 인기인 반려동물인데요. 아주 작습니다. 손톱만한 크기의 등각류, 아이소포드라고 해서 공벌레랑 같은 과인데 생긴 건 조금 달라요. 여기 오렌지 색깔이고 일단은 그 다음에 등에 이렇게 뿔처럼 뾰족뾰족 올라와 있는 비늘이 있습니다. 그 다음에는 또 제가 딱 생각했을 때 그 영화 봉준호 감독의 영화 미키
Mickey 17.
미키 17에서 거기도 아이소포드처럼 생긴 크리처들이 많이 나왔었잖아요. 그 혹시 영화 보신 분들은 그걸 생각하시면 될 것 같은데 그 애기 아이소포드가 굉장히 귀여웠었거든요. 영화 속에서. 그거의 정말 미니처 버전, 손톱만 하니까 그런 느낌이라고 보시면 될 것 같아요. 귀엽게 생겼습니다. 저도 처음에는 벌레라 그래서 어떤 모습일까 궁금했었는데 실제로 사진을 봤을 때는 귀여울 것 같다 하는 생각이 저도
They
들었어요.
are very cute, but
좀
so are
무서웠는데.
woodlice.
그러니까 뭐
They're really cute.
그래요. 뭐 그런 류를 좋아하시는군요,
So keep a
선생님은.
woodlouse. You can keep woodlice. They're fine.
저는 평소에는 좀 무서워하는데 요거는 조금 독특하게 생긴 것 같습니다. 일단 색깔부터가 주황색이어서 그런지 뭐 검정색이 아니라
Yeah, they look like cartoon characters a little bit.
그래요. 뭐 뭔지 모르겠는데 그래요. 그래서 가격은 보통은 350불 그러니까 한 50만 원이지만 요즘에는 비쌀 때는 $850 그러니까 한 122만 원에도 이렇게 분양이 되는 경우도 있다고 합니다. 상당히 비싸죠. 근데 문제는 뭐냐면 이렇게 우리가 반려동물로 뭐 미국에서 키우고 있다. 뭐 이런 거 자체는 크게 문제가 되지 않을 것 같지만 이름이 Cuban Spike예요. 실제로 그런 Cuban region에서 살고 있는 동물들이고 카리브해 산호초지대 또 해안가 근처에서 원래 살고 있기 때문에 개체수도 그렇게 많지는 않는 모양입니다. 그래서 희귀동물이래요. 미국에서 이렇게나 많이 분양을 받고 그다음에 반려동물로 키우다 보면은 생태계가 파괴될 수 있어서 이런 우려가 지금 제기되고 있습니다. Alright, let's have a look at the expressions. To raise an animal as a pet.
I raise my cat as a pet, meaning I look after my cat, Frankie, day and night. I feed her, I keep her clean, I clean her litter, I do all of that. Sue raises children. You can also raise children as well as pets.
Yes.
Means to look after them and help them grow up.
The word pet is a very affectionate word.
Yes.
You can call a child a pet.
Oh, my little pet.
Oh, my little pet.
Yes, and in fact, when
맞아요.
used as a verb, to
to
pet,
pet.
means to pat, to stroke.
맞아요.
So
맞아요.
yes, we use we use this term for children or pets. The difference is for pets, if you raise a pet, it's until the pet dies. Whereas a child will hopefully leave home and go off
Right.
and have a wonderful life. So it's to look after, to help grow, to be in your care.
그래요. To raise는 키우다. 그 다음에 pet가 반려동물이죠. 근데 pet라는 단어 자체가 굉장히 사랑스러운 단어예요. 동사로 쓰이기도 합니다. 이렇게 토닥토닥 이렇게 쓰다듬어 주는 것도 petting이라고 할 수 있고요. 그 다음에 사랑스럽게 우리는 이제 반려라는 단어를 써서 반려동물 이렇게 해석을 하는데 그런 companion의 의미가 이미 pet 안에 들어가 있어요. 그러니까 companion animal이라고 하지 않아도 영어에서는 pet만 말해도 이미 그런 나의 반려자, 반려동물이라는 느낌이 있는 아주 예쁜 단어여서 아이들한테도 hello pet, hello darling 이렇게 여러 가지 애칭을 쓰는 것 중에도 pet 써도 돼요. 애들한테.
Yes.
자, 그래서 raise as pets. 이 Cuban Spike라는 이 작은 등각류 아이소포드가 요즘에 반려동물로 길러지고 있는 모습입니다. 미국에서. What about concerns about the impact on the ecosystem?
Yes. So concerns about something means worries. People are thinking, what will happen? Is there a danger? Is there a problem? And the impact on something is what will it do to something? Will it damage the other thing in some way? Will it change it in some way? So we can have positive impacts or negative impacts, but it means there's going to be a big change of some kind because of the first thing.
그래요. 자, concerns about 무엇에 대한 우려. The impact on something. 무엇에 미치는 영향. 그래서 여기서 얘기하고 있는 거는요. 원래의 서식지에 어떤 영향을 미칠지 우려가 제기되고 있습니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. An increasing number of people in the US are raising Cuban spikies, an isopod species found mainly in Caribbean coral reef and coastal regions as pets, prompting concerns about the impact on their natural habitat. And that's it for the headlines this morning with Paul Matthews.
Consumer prices increased at their slowest pace in 5 months in January, largely due to flat petroleum product prices, and have remained in the 2% range since September of last year, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics.
1월 국내 소비자 물가 상승률이 부합세를 보인 석유류 가격의 영향으로 5개월 만에 최소폭을 기록한 가운데 지난 9월 이후로는 계속 2%대를 유지하고 있습니다. Right, so of course, when we talk about prices, you feel the pinch.
Yes.
We don't want the prices to go up. If
Of
anything,
course.
we want it to feel less burdensome.
Yeah.
What's happening right now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I feel like the consumer prices have gone up for some time.
Yeah.
I mean, I can.
It's not going to drastically.
Yeah,
fall,
it's not gonna. But statistically, statistic wise, it's doing okay. So according to some figures here, they say that the consumer prices it rose at the slowest pace in 5 months in January, and it's largely due to stable petroleum prices. So the consumer price index it increased 2% year on year to 118.03, and this is according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics. Inflation has stayed in the 2% range since September, but its pace has steadily eased since October as fuel prices flattened after earlier increases. So prices of agricultural, livestock, and fisheries products rose 2.6%, while the cost of living index climbed 2.2%.
그래요. 물가가 뭐 이렇게 뚝 떨어질 리는 없겠지만서도 한 달 전에 비해서 지난 1월 달에 물가 상승률이 살짝 둔화했습니다.
Yes.
그래서 그 전달인 지난해 12월에는 물가 상승률이 또 그 전달에 비해서 2.3%였는데 1월에는 2%였어요. 그래서 0.3%포인트 둔화한 모습입니다. 적어도 이게 물가 상승률이 조금이라도
Yeah.
덜 가파르게 오르면 안 그러는 것보단 낫죠.
It's good news. Yes, it's good news.
근데 왜 그러면은 이렇게 물가 상승률이 좀 둔화했느냐? 일단은 국제 유가가 하락한 요인도 있고요. 그다음에 농산물 가격의 안정화도 이유로 들고 있습니다. But then when it comes to 가공식품, so processed goods,
Yes.
it looks like the consumer prices or the prices for those goods actually have gone up slightly.
Yeah.
그러니까 가공식품 물가 같은 경우에는 살짝 올랐어요, 이 물가는. 그래서 상대적으로 좀 더 부담스럽게 느껴질 수 있습니다. Alright, let's have a look at the expressions. Flat prices.
Yeah. So this can be a little confusing because you might have heard of a flat rate. A flat rate is usually used, for example, if you have like a monthly flat rate for your phone, that means you're paying a fixed price. So you're paying let's say a 50,000 won flat rate for your phone, and that would be it's a fixed unchanging price that you would pay regardless of how much you use your phone. But in this case, we're talking about a flat price, and this means it's remained stable.
flat rate 그러면은 고정 요금이 되겠네요. 전화기 같은 경우에 만약에 이제 항상 얼마 이렇게
Yeah.
고정된 요금을 낸다 그러면은 그런 걸 flat rate라고 부르는데 지금 얘기하고 있는 flat price는요 가격이 변동이 없는 그런 상태. 그러니까 그냥 이제 그 똑같이 유지가 되는
Yeah, you can think of a graph
flat.
when it's flat, like a plateau. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What about remain in the something range?
Yeah, when something remains in a range, it means it stays in some sort of range. And a range is referring to an area of variation between some sort of upper and lower limit on a scale. So if we say in our article, it remained in the 2% range, then we can assume that the figure stayed between 2.0 and 2.9.
Yeah, exactly. So you could actually say it remained in the 2.0 to 2.9 range.
Yeah.
But we've simplified things here. 보통 이제 어떤 범위 안에 든다라고 할 때 it remains in the something range. 보통 이제 영어 문장 구조상 in the A to B range 이렇게 두 가지 작은 숫자부터 큰 숫자까지의 그 range 범주를 얘기하는 게 통상적이지만 또 이렇게 그냥 2%라는 숫자 하나만 줘도 이해가 되죠.
Yep.
자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Consumer prices increased at their slowest pace in 5 months in January, largely due to flat petroleum product prices, and have remained in the 2% range since September of last year, according to the Ministry of Data and Statistics. Let's move on to the second headline.
K-Pass, a state-run fare discount program for public transit users, takes effect nationwide today, offering refunds of 20 to 53% on public transit fares, depending on users' age groups and regions of residence.
국내 대중교통 이용자를 위해 정부에서 요금을 할인해주는 K-Pass가 오늘부터 전국에서 사용이 가능해집니다. K-Pass 이용자는 연령대와 거주 지역에 따라 대중교통 요금을 20%에서 53%까지 환급받을 수 있습니다.
Yeah.
Right, what do we know?
Okay, so it's rolling out today nationwide after all remaining local governments have agreed to participate in this program. So 11 municipalities in South Jeolla Province and North Gyeongsang provinces, they actually delayed adoption due to budget issues, but they have signed on, and they say that this was first launched in May of 2024, and it offers refunds of 20 to 53% on subway, bus, and GTX fares, with eligibility extended to foreigners holding identification numbers. So discount benefits were expanded this year with higher refund caps based on family status and region. So the Transport Ministry said supplementary budgets will be provided where needed, completing what it called a standardized nationwide transit welfare policy.
So yesterday I went to the website and I checked this out. 이 웹사이트에 가서 이제 예상 환급금도 한번 보실 수 있고요. 그다음에 거기서 이제 각 카드사별로 이 카드를 구매하는 링크도 다 이렇게 걸려 있기 때문에 그 웹사이트를 통해서 카드를 구매할 수 있습니다. 자, 근데 모든 사람에게 해당되는 건 아니고요. 월 15회 이상 대중교통을 이용하는 경우에만 할인 적용이 됩니다. 그 할인은 지역마다 그다음에 지금 얘기한 것처럼 이제 여러 가지 조건에 따라서 할인율이 좀 달라져요. 만약에 우리 집이 이제 다자녀 가구다. 이러면 조금 더 할인율이 올라갈 수 있고 뭐 여러 가지가 좀 감안이 됩니다. 그래서 지금 이게 딱 얼마다 이렇게 얘기를 할 수는 없지만 마찬가지로 홈페이지 들어가셔서 가입을 하시고 카드 구입하시고 가입하시면은 그다음에 이제 사용할 수 있는데 지금까지는 일부 지역에서 이 K-Pass 카드를 사용할 수 있었지만 이제 앞으로는 전국 모든 지자체에서 다 이용할 수 있게 됩니다. 시내버스, 마을버스, 지하철, GTX, 신분당선 다 이용할 수 있어요. So it's going to be, a great thing for people to take advantage of, especially if you use the public transportation, say, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 15, so you said that you have to use it at least
15 times. Yep.
So that would be if you, use it if you're a student.
Yeah.
If you use it every day.
If you commute to work by public transportation,
Yeah.
then this applies to you.
Definitely.
자, 이게 국가에서 운영하는 프로그램이다 보니까 state run이라는 표현이 나옵니다.
Right. So we refer to the government as the state. So if it's state run, we put a little hyphen in between state and run. Run means that it's organized or it's operated by the government. So it's run by the state or run by state organizations, enterprises, or services that are owned or funded or directly controlled by the government.
Exactly. 나라에서 운영한다라는 뜻인데요. 나라를 state라고 표현을 할 수가 있고 run이 바로 그런 운영한다라는 의미로 state run이라는 하나의 형용사가 사용이 됩니다. 자, 그다음에 transit.
Transit, it just refers to the carrying of people, goods, or materials from one place to another.
그래요. 뭐 운송, 수송, 교통체계를 얘기하고 있는 거겠죠. 그래서 여러분도 이제 K-PASS 앱이나 웹사이트를 통해서 이제 알아보시면 될 것 같습니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. K-PASS, a state-run fare discount program for public transit users, takes effect nationwide today, offering refunds of 20 to 53% on public transit fares, depending on users' age groups and regions of residence.
More than 300 schools were closed across Poland on Monday as temperatures plunged below negative 25 degrees Celsius, while residents of a major northern city faced heating disruptions after a power plant suffered a technical failure.
폴란드의 한파가 덮쳐 지난 월요일 기온이 영하 25도 이하로 떨어진 가운데 전국 각지에서 300개 이상의 학교가 휴교에 들어갔고 북부 도시 그단스크에서는 발전소에 기술적 문제가 발생해 난방이 제대로 공급되지 않는 것으로 알려졌습니다. 그래서 뭐 지난 월요일이라고 했지만 사실상 우리 시간으로 어제입니다.
Yeah.
네, 좀 알려주시죠. What happened?
Yeah. So yes, 300 schools, more than 300 schools were closed or shifted to remote learning on Monday as temperatures plunged below negative 25 degrees Celsius. Of course, it disrupted travel and daily life, and the extreme cold also strained the energy infrastructure in Poland, leaving parts of the northern cities of Gdansk and Sopot with reduced heating and hot water after a power plant malfunction. So authorities reported power outages affecting about 3,500 people nationwide, mainly in the northeastern regions. And they say that the lowest temperature was recorded at negative 27.7 degrees Celsius. Warsaw fell to negative 18.6 degrees Celsius, and officials warned that the cold poses a serious risk to vulnerable groups, with 37 cold-related deaths reported since November last year.
자, 폴란드가 물론 이제 겨울마다 좀 춥기는 합니다만 지금 특히 더 혹독한 그런 겨울을 맞이하고 있습니다. 그래서 어제 같은 경우에도 뭐 영하 20도 정도까지 평균적으로 떨어졌다고 하는데요. 수도인 이제 바르샤바 우리는 이렇게 표현하죠. 영어에서는 워소라고 합니다.
Yep.
예, 워소, 바르샤바에서도 영하 19도 정도까지 떨어지는 거를 어제 관찰했었는데 이러다 보니까 뭐 학교도 문을 닫기도 하지만 예, 인명피해도 발생을 했습니다. 저체온증으로 지난 주말에만 3명이 사망했다고 하고요. 지난 11월 이후 지금까지는 저체온증으로 37명의 사망자가 나왔다는 굉장히 안타까운 소식이 전해지고 있습니다. Alright, let's have a look at the mercury plunging below 20 degrees or whatever the number is.
Yeah. So when we talk about plunge, you can, it's like a jump when you go down very quickly. So when you're diving, you can say you're plunging to the water below.
Yep.
So when something plunges below something, we're talking about the sudden, very forceful downward movement. Or when we're talking about figures, it's a sharp decrease in value. So when we're saying that something went down in the amount or a value very quickly and suddenly, we can use the expression plunge below a certain figure.
Same as drop below.
Yeah.
뭐뭐 아래로 떨어지다. What about heating disruptions?
Yeah, heating disruptions. We're talking about the loss of heat due to perhaps a power outage or maybe a severe weather occurrence. So a disruption is like a disturbance or problems which interrupt some sort of event or an activity or process.
Exactly. Yeah. disruptions라고 하면 이제 방해를 받아서 차질이 빚어지는 거죠. 그러니까
Yeah.
차질. 그다음에 히팅이 나왔으니까 난방 공급에 차질이 빚어졌다. 이렇게 볼 수 있습니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. More than 300 schools were closed across Poland on Monday as temperatures plunged below minus 25 degrees, while residents of a major northern city faced heating disruptions after a power plant suffered a technical failure. All right, let's move on to the next headline.
The names of 72 female scientists, including Marie Curie, are set to be added to the first floor exterior wall of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, which until now has exclusively featured male scientists' names.
지금까지 남성 과학자들의 이름만 올라와 있던 프랑스 파리 에펠탑의 1층 외벽에 앞으로 마리 큐리를 포함한 여성 과학자 72명의 이름이 추가로 새겨질 예정입니다. All right. So what happened?
Yeah. So the city of Paris has announced plans to inscribe the names of female scientists, including Marie Curie and Sophie Germain, on the Eiffel Tower, which has until now featured only male scientists. So this short list of 72 women from diverse scientific fields was submitted by the tower's operator and the Association for Women in Science and will undergo public consultation before final approval. And once finalized, the names will be added to the first floor exterior wall alongside the existing 72 male scientists selected by Gustave Eiffel in 1889. And this move addresses long-standing criticism over the absence of women, particularly figures as prominent as Marie Curie. And the Paris mayor said that the initiative will inspire future generations and finally recognize women's contributions to the field of science.
그러니까요, 1889년에 완공이 된 이 에펠탑, 아이플 타워 1층 외벽엔 현재 72명의 과학자와 수학자, 공학자의 이름이 새겨져 있어요. 그런데 전부 남성
It's
과학자들입니다.
exclusively male.
네, 맞아요. It's exclusively male. 남성의 이름밖에 없다. 그래서 지난 4년 동안요, 학생들과 시민단체가 비판의 목소리를 내면서 훌륭한 여성 과학자들도 많은데 이름을 같이 올려달라. 이렇게 해서 드디어 이게 받아들여진 거고요. 마침내 이름을 올리게 될 여성 과학자 72명의 명단이 발표됐습니다. 거기에는 이제 당연히 Marie Curie도 들어있는데 저는 이게 굉장히 의미 있다는 생각이 드는 게 뭐 여러 가지로 당연히 의미가 있지만 If we look at the life of Marie Curie, she was born in Poland and during her day girls were not allowed to go to university in Poland. So where did she go to study, science? She came to France, of course. And so she learnt everything that she knew and then eventually she coined the term radioactivity. So it was kind of thanks to her life in France that she became the Nobel Prize winner and the scientist we know her as today. And so it's kind of odd that her name wasn't on there.
On there, right?
All this time.
Yeah.
It's taken a really long time for them to decide, okay, we're going to add her name and many other female scientist names.
Yeah.
그래요. 그래서 이제 에펠탑 운영공사는 늦어도 2027년까지 금빛 문자로 이제 여성 과학자들의 이름을 새겨 넣을 거라고
Golden
발표했습니다.
names.
네. 자, 표현 볼게요. Something is set to be added.
Yeah. When something is set to be, it means that it's ready to be, or it's preparing to, or scheduled to do something. So not yet, but it's in the process of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're when you're to be added something, that means that you're ready to be joining the ranks of or contributing and enhancing quality to something.
준비한다는 뜻으로 set. set to do something은 그래서 뭐뭐 할 예정이다 라는 표현이죠. set to be added는 추가될 예정이다. exclusively 아까 우리 언급했는데요. 다시 한번 정리해 주세요.
Yeah, exclusively. When something's very exclusive, when you're talking about like an exclusive vacation, that means that it's very special.
Yeah.
But when something's exclusively something, it means that it's very restricted or limited to a person maybe or a group or an area that is concerned or what you're talking about.
exclusive라는 거는요. 뭐뭐만 누구만 쓸 수 있다. 이런 이제 국한되는 것을 얘기해요. 그래서 exclusive membership 그러면은 회원들만 누리는 어떤 혜택이 있는 거겠죠. 자, 여기서는 currently on the Eiffel Tower there are 72 names of scientists and mathematicians, but they are exclusively male.
Yep.
남성의 이름만 있어요. 이런 뜻이 되겠습니다. But not anymore. Soon, there's going to be a lot of female
Yes.
scientist names there too.
An equal number.
An equal number 맞습니다.
Yes.
지금까지 이제 72명의 과학자, 남성 과학자 있었으니까 앞으로 72명의 여성 과학자 이름도 추가가 됩니다. 뭐 수학자도 포함이 돼 있고요. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The names of 72 female scientists, including Marie Curie, are set to be added to the first floor exterior wall of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, which until now has exclusively featured male scientists' names. Now let's move on to the final headline.
Rome has introduced a new €2 fee to get close to the Trevi Fountain by walking down the stone steps to its basin, alongside a €5 tourist ticket fee for some city museums, as part of the city's efforts to manage visitor congestion in the busy historic center.
이탈리아 로마시가 시내 관광객 혼잡 문제를 해결하기 위해 새로운 입장 요금제를 시행했습니다. 이에 따르면 트레비 분수를 가까이 보기 위해 바로 앞 계단을 통해 분수대 쪽으로 내려가려는 관광객은 2유로를 내야 하며 시내 일부 미술관도 관람객을 대상으로 5유로의 요금을 받습니다. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you want to go right by the Trevi Fountain to put some money in it,
Yep.
you have to pay money to go and throw in some more money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a €2 access fee. And it's for visitors who want to step down to the basin of the Trevi Fountain. And it's been debated. I think Europe has been, they're kind of fed up with it's not just Rome. I think Venice. They're introducing a fee for tourists. London. So a lot of countries in Europe who have had problems with just too many tourists.
Yeah, over tourism.
Yeah, over tourism. So they're trying to, and there's also the problem with the upkeep. They have to, preserve these artifacts. For generations to come. So they've introduced this fee that aims to manage the crowds and, of course, fund the upkeep. And this charge, it applies mostly during the daytime and evening hours.
Right.
And Rome residents, of course, are exempted from the fee. Children under 6 and people with disabilities are also exempt from the fee. And access to the surrounding areas also remains free. So if you want to look at the Trevi Fountain from afar, you don't have to pay the fee. I don't know how they're going to actually manage this. And officials say that more than 10 million people visited the fountain in 2025, and the fee could raise about 6.5 million euros annually for conservation efforts. Reactions among tourists have been mixed, with some calling it reasonable and others arguing that historic sites should remain free. Rome's tourism chief defended the move as necessary amid soaring visitor numbers and similar fees introduced at other Italian landmarks. And I guess a lot of this might have stemmed from, those years during COVID where people were not allowed to travel.
Yeah.
And so we saw fewer numbers and then just tourism boomed and we started seeing
Too many
bigger
people.
crowds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. 그래요. 이탈리아 로마의 트레비 분수 너무나 유명하죠. 그 분수의 입장 요금제가 현지 시간 2일부터 시행이 됐습니다. 며칠 안 됐어요. 관광객이 몰리는 분수 인근까지 접근을 하려면은 2유로라는 일종의 이제 입장료 같은 거죠. 입장료라고 말하기에는 좀 그렇지만 어쨌든 이제 가까이 가기 위해서는 2유로, 우리 돈으로 한 3,400원 정도를 내야 됩니다. 물론 이걸 내기 싫다 그러면은 좀 멀리서는 볼 수 있어요. 뭐 보지 못하는 건 아닙니다만 가까이는 못 갑니다. 이제 모든 사람에게 해당되는 건 아니고 관광객에게 해당이 되는 거겠죠. 그래서 로마 시민, 로마 거주자는 이 돈을 내지 않아도 되고요. 그 다음에 6세 미만 어린이도 무료고 장애인과 동반자도 무료로 분수 앞까지 갈 수 있기는 합니다. So the people that I just mentioned there are exempt from the fee, but everyone else has to pay this extra fee to get close to the fountain.
But I do think that, in order to preserve these historical sites and artifacts, yeah,
You need to do something about it.
you
I
do.
guess. Yeah,
Yes.
true.
Or you need, people need to take better care of it.
자, 이뿐만 아니라 뭐 다른 박물관에서도 이런 이제 입장 요금제를 시행한다고 하는데요. 그때 쓰인 표현이 alongside입니다.
Yeah. So alongside, that means together with or along with. So it means at the same time or in coexistence with.
뭐뭐와 함께. And what's congestion?
Congestion, we talk about this when we're talking about traffic.
Yeah.
So there's the state of being very crowded with traffic or with people so that you can't move freely.
Also, when we talk about, feeling congested
Yes.
in terms of your health,
Yeah.
that's sort of like 속이 더부룩한
Yes.
느낌?
It could be your stomach, it could be your nose as well. When your nose
yeah.
is congested,
아, 그러네요.
it's blocked up.
아, 배보다는 코, 배는 아닌가? Do you ever say you feel congested in terms
I
of
think
your,
you
your
can
stomach?
feel your congested here as well. Yeah, when you feel like your stomach's blocked up and you have indigestion.
Oh,
But
okay.
you probably use indigestion
그러네요.
a little bit more. Yeah.
So congestion is more for your nose then.
Yes.
왜냐하면 congestion이란 단어는 막혔다는 뜻이에요. 그렇기 때문에 코가 막혔을 때, 이럴 때 더 많이 쓰겠네요. 속이 더부룩할 때는 I feel congested 보다는
Indigestion.
indigestion.
Yeah.
이제 소화가 안 돼. 이런 표현을 좀 더 많이 쓸 것 같고. 자, visitor congestion 그러면은 방문객이 너무 많이 있어서 이제 그냥 거리가 이 지역이 꽉 막힌 느낌. 또 우리 대표적으로는 congestion은 교통,
Yes.
차가 꽉꽉 막혔을 때 도로교통 얘기하면서도 congestion 많이 언급하죠. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Rome has introduced a new €2 fee to get close to the Trevi Fountain by walking down the stone steps to its basin, alongside a €5 tourist fee or tourist ticket fee for some city museums as part of the city's efforts to manage visitor congestion in the busy historic centre. All right, well, that's it for the headlines.
The employment rate of people aged 55 to 64 surpassed 70% for the first time last year, according to the Ministry of Employment and Labor, with this age group accounting for more than 18% of the working age population in 2025.
고용노동부에 따르면은 지난해 국내 55에서 64세 고령자 고용률이 처음으로 70%를 넘어섰으며 전체 생산 가능 인구 중 고령자 비중은 18%가 넘는 것으로 집계됐습니다. All right, so a big portion of the 55 to 64-year-olds are currently working.
Yes, over 70%
Yeah.
now. So it was 69.9% a year earlier. So it's bumped up slightly. And the employment rate has remained above 60% since 2007, reaching the mid-60s in 2013 and the upper 60s in 2022. So it's trending upwards consistently.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how much it raises more in the future.
그래요. 우리가 보통 이제 일할 수 있는 나이, 그러니까 생산 가능 인구라고 하면은 15세에서 64세를 얘기하는데요. 그 중 55세에서 64세의 비중이 18%고요. 또 이 18%의 고령자 중 현재 돈을 벌기 위해서 일을 하고 있는 퍼센티지가 70%가 넘었습니다. 1983년 통계 작성 이래 처음으로 70%를 넘은 거거든요. 상당히 많은 퍼센티지의 고령자가 지금 현재 일을 하고 있는데 고령자라고 말하기도 좀 그래요. 왜냐면 요즘에 55세에서 64세는 저는 굉장히 젊다고 생각합니다. 선생님 어떠세요? 좀 고령, they're not old. 이런
Yeah.
이미지가 없잖아요, 요즘에는.
That's true. I mean, people are healthier for longer nowadays. So I think,
그러니까요.
that's part of it. Also, another factor could be that, jobs available when you're older might be different now. It might be
Yeah.
less labor. There could be more online work
Sure.
or work from home, things that people could be doing. So it might also just be that, work is easier. But, the other flip side of it is just that maybe people need to work longer later into their lives.
Yeah, speaking of working longer, right now, of course, the National Assembly is thinking about possibly pushing back the retirement age from 60 to 65 because, as you said, more and more people are living longer, they're able to work. So why not have the retirement age pushed back a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's not just Korea. I think a lot of countries around the world are considering the same thing. So if anything, that might be just a growing trend that Korea is following.
그렇죠. 이렇게 일하는 고령자가 많다 보니 이제 앞으로는 그 법정 정년을 현재 60세에서 65세로 변경하는 것도 지금 논의 중에 있다고 합니다. 국회에서요. 그래서 앞으로는 어떻게 될지 지켜봐야 될 텐데 확실한 것은 데이터상 이렇게 고령자 중 일하고 있는 분들의 비중이 굉장히 높다는 거. 자, 표현 보겠습니다. The first one is age group.
Age group is how you're dividing the people into different groups. And in this particular case, we're doing it the age group of 55 years old to 64 years old. So, it could be a different age group, maybe 18 to 25 or 25 to 55. So there's all sorts of different age groups. You can make the numbers whatever you want it to be, but there are some numbers that are typical, like 65 is generally seen as the senior retirement age, or maybe like a voting age might be a certain time, or different
exactly.
children age. So anytime you're dividing a group of people into different categories, in this case, it's by age, which is why we're calling it age group.
Exactly. It's a group that's categorized by age. 연령대라고 하면 될 것 같고요. And what about the working age population?
So once again, this is the group. And which group is it? Well, it's the group that works. So those typically after 18, because prior to that, you're usually in high school. And again, it's usually those ideally before 65. So let's say from about 18 to 65 typically is going to be your working age population, the people, the total number of people within there that are actually earning money.
Although technically in Korea, we say the working age population is from 15 to 64.
Okay.
So that would be the actual age group. But within that, of course, we have about 18% of people over the age of 55, which is more than before. 그래요. 우리가 보통 말하는 생산 가능 인구. 영어식으로 말하자면은 일할 수 있는 나이의 인구. 뭐 이런 거죠. Working age population. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The employment rate of people aged 55 to 64 surpassed 70% for the first time last year, according to the Ministry of Employment and Labour, with this age group accounting for more than 18% of the working age population in 2025. Here's our next headline.
The Korean passport has once again ranked second amongst the most powerful in the world, according to the Henley Passport Index, granting holders visa waiver access to 188 countries and territories.
세계 각국의 여권 파워를 측정한 헨리 여권 지수에서 총 188개국에 비자 없이 입국이 가능한 한국 여권이 올해도 2위 자리를 지켰습니다. I have one of these. I have the second most powerful passport in the world. Tell us about that.
That's right. So 188 countries that Korea has access to that joins them with Japan. Singapore has the most countries that they have access to at 192. So
Right.
only four more than Korea and Japan. And meanwhile, if you look at other countries, the United States, for a moment, they were actually outside of the top 10, but they
okay.
just, I think, got back into 10th place with 179 countries.
그렇군요. 미국 여권으로는 무비자 입국 가능한 나라가 179개국인 반면에 우리나라 여권, 대한민국 여권이 있다면은 188개국 입국이 무비자로 이제 가능합니다. 그래서 헨리 여권 지수는 이렇게 몇 개국을 무비자로 입국할 수 있느냐를 가지고 순위를 정하게 되죠. 이제 이게 조금 더 엄밀히 말하자면은 국제 항공 운송 협회 IATA의 데이터를 가지고 199개국의 여권을 분석합니다. 그 다음에 227개국의 목적지를 함께 분석해서 이렇게 리스트를 작성하게 돼요.
Interestingly, on the other end of the spectrum, there is one country that is only allowed into 24 countries without a visa.
Can I guess what that is?
Go ahead.
I don't know. Is it Afghanistan?
It is
Oh, it is,
Afghanistan.
okay.
Yeah. So if you have an Afghanistan passport, then it's going to be very difficult to travel. There's only 24 places in the world that
Yeah.
you can go without a visa.
Of course, I mean, it's all about the diplomatic ties.
Yes.
그래요. 자, 1위는 싱가포르입니다. 싱가포르 여권이 있다면 192개국 무비자 입국이 가능하고요. 공동 2위는 우리나라와 일본. 3위에는 이제 여러 국가가 공동 3위를 했는데 덴마크, 룩셈버그, 스페인, 스웨덴, 스위스 186개국 입국이 가능하답니다. 여러분은 어느 나라 여권을 가지고 계신가요? 뭐 대부분 대한민국이겠지만 또 아닌 분들도 계실 것 같아요. 선생님은 캐나다?
Yes,
여권 가지고 계시죠?
yeah, Canadian
그래요.
passport.
네, 자 한번 보겠습니다. 표현 to grant access.
If you're granting somebody something, then you're giving them something or allowing them permission for something. We often hear, I think, the story of Aladdin and the genie. If he
yes.
rubs the genie and the genie says, "Oh, I shall grant you 3 wishes," meaning that you can have whatever you want 3 times. So, I'm allowing you this. I'm giving you this.
이렇게 허락해준다라는 의미가 있을 수도 있고요. 지니 램프에서는 지니가 내가 너의 소원을 들어줄게 라고 우리말로는 하지만 영어로는 I will grant you 3 wishes 라고 합니다. 자, 여기서는 입국을 허용해준다 라는 뜻이에요. These passports grant access to X number of countries.
We often hear about like a grant that a government might give you as
Right.
well, which is usually like an amount of money that allows you to do some research or might be something to start up a business
Yeah.
or something that can be helpful not just to you, but maybe a larger group of people. So we often call that a grant.
Yeah. It's like a scholarship. It's an amount of money that you get from the government. All right. What about a waiver?
A waiver is when you kind of say you don't need this. So in this case, we're talking about a visa waiver. So you don't need a visa to come into our country. We're waiving that. So this requirement that you would normally need, you don't need it. We're waiving it.
It's a very formal word. 공식적인 단어고요. W-A-I-V-E-R, waiver는 면제, 면책이란 뜻입니다. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. The Korean passport has once again ranked second among the most powerful in the world, according to the Henley Passport Index, granting holders visa waiver access to 188 countries and territories.
The National Museum of Korea will adjust opening and closing hours, disperse visitor flows, and expand convenience facilities starting next month in an effort to address a recent record-setting increase in visitors that has placed it among the world's most visited museums.
최근 세계에서 가장 많이 방문하는 박물관 대열에 올라선 국립중앙박물관이 기록적으로 늘어난 관람객 규모에 대응하기 위해 다음 달부터 개관 및 폐관 시간을 조정하고 관람객 흐름을 분산하는 한편 편의시설을 확충할 계획입니다. Tell us more about the museum. It's doing so well.
Yeah, so well that they're expanding visiting hours to open from 9:30 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. They're also going to build a new cafe and a stairway that can double as a seating area.
Okay.
Where, visitors can kind of rest after their tours. And that's going to be added by the main building by August. So,
very nice.
They're clearly doing well in terms of business and visitors.
Yeah.
I mean, they're comparing the visitors to like what the Louvre,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Vatican Museum.
Oh, it's up there now, along with those.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the National Museum of Korea. 국립중앙박물관이 이제는 세계에서 가장 사람들이 많이 찾는 박물관 중에 하나가 됐습니다. 그래서 이제 어떻게 개관과 폐관 시간을 바꾸게 되느냐? 3월 16일부터요. 개관 시간은 9시 반. 현재는 10시인데 30분 앞당겨집니다. 그리고 폐관 시간도 마찬가지로 현재는 저녁 6시인데요. 5시 반으로 그러니까 각각 30분씩 앞당겨지는데 그 이유가 뭐냐면은 지금 현재 오전에 관람객이 가장 많대요. 그리고 보통 개관하기 전에 보통 한 1시간 반 정도 줄 서서 기다렸다가 들어간답니다. 특히 뭐 뮤지엄 굿즈를 사기 위해서 더 그렇기도 하고 그래서 아예 이제 오프닝 하는 시간을 더 당겨서 사람들이 기다리는 시간도 좀 줄이고 어차피 이제 오전의 시간이 사람들이 가장 많으니까 이런 걸 facilitate 한다라고 보실 수 있겠죠?
And I can say that we visit that museum at least twice a year.
Oh, do
'cause
you?
My kids love it. Like
Yeah.
as my 8-year-old, he actually just recently started his own history YouTube channel
Oh,
because he
fantastic.
loves Korean history, especially the Joseon period. So yeah, like he loves going there and just seeing everything to do with the Joseon period.
That is so fantastic. You know, when I was younger, I was never interested in Korean history, unfortunately, because it was just so hard for me. But now I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a history buff now. But if only I'd been like your son and if only I'd realized it earlier, I would have been so much better. 자, 그리고 휴관일도 좀 변경이 있어요. 기존에는 국중박의 휴관일이 1월 1일, 설날, 추석 이렇게 당일에만 쉬었었거든요. 근데 앞으로는요 좀 더 많이 쉽니다. 여러 가지 이제 정비를 위해서 그러는 것도 있고 사람들이 많이 찾는데 이제 3월, 6월, 9월, 12월 첫째 주 월요일에도 문을 닫으니까 이거 확인하시고 방문하시면 되겠어요. Okay, let's have a look at adjusting.
If you adjust something, then you're changing it slightly. Not really like changing it completely, but it's usually like a slight improvement or fixing something ever so much as needed.
조정하다, adjust. And to address an issue?
If you address an issue, then there might be something wrong or something that needs your attention.
Yeah.
And if you actually do give it the attention that it requires, then you are addressing it.
네, 무언가를 다루다라는 뜻입니다. 대응하다가 될 수도 있고요. 읽어보겠습니다. The National Museum of Korea will adjust opening and closing hours, disperse visitor flows, and expand convenience facilities starting next month in an effort to address a recent record-setting increase in visitors that has placed it among the world's most visited museums. Here's our next headline.
Spain has become the latest European country to propose a ban on social media for children under 16, a measure that forms part of broader reforms that would hold company executives accountable for illegal or harmful content on their platforms.
네, 스페인이 만 16세 미만 청소년의 소셜미디어 이용을 금지하는 유럽 국가들 대열에 합류했습니다. 스페인은 이번 규제의 단순한 연령 제한을 넘어 불법 및 유해 콘텐츠 확산을 방치하는 플랫폼 책임자들에게 법적 책임을 묻는 내용도 포함시켰습니다. Okay, so of course Australia was the first country to enact this. Many European countries are considering this, and so is Spain.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a done deal yet,
No.
but it's something that they have proposed. So they're considering it. And it's not just that, you're making it more difficult or giving obstacles to kids 16 and under to access these, but you're also holding the companies accountable. So
Yeah.
you're making them say, look, if you don't do this, then you're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah. To hold someone accountable means they need to take responsibility. And it's all for, children's well-being and their mental health. And, there's a lot of harmful content out there. And there's so many things that it's really hard to control. So Australia, of course, has limited social media access. And if you're under 16, you cannot have a social media account in Australia now. France and Denmark are currently considering this, the UK as well as Turkey. But over in Canada, they're also thinking about doing this as well. So it's not just Europe, a lot of countries around the world.
I think every country around the world should, at the very least, consider it.
Oh, I'm for this. Yeah,
Whether you actively do it or not, everyone should actually just consider it.
자, 표현 보겠습니다. It's part of a broader reform.
So reform is change, essentially. And when you're talking about something that's broad, then it's kind of wide or big. So these are big changes, usually for the better, that you're trying to perform.
그렇죠. broader reform이라는 건 더 광범위한 개혁이라는 뜻인데요. 이 16세 미만 아이들이 소셜미디어를 하지 못하게 하는 것은 일부에 불과하고요. 그 외에도 이제 소셜미디어를 운영하는 회사들에게도 책임을 묻겠다는 얘기가 포함되어 있어서 광범위한 여러 가지 리폼 중에 하나다. 이런 얘기를 하고 있고 조금 전에 설명해 주셨죠. Hold someone accountable for something.
Yeah, if you're held accountable, then you're going to be punished for any wrongdoing that you do. So if you've done something wrong, if there's no consequence, then who cares? It doesn't matter. So then, you're going to continue to do these bad things because nothing bad happens to you in response. So if you're holding, these companies accountable, then you're saying that, if you do this, then you will be punished in this way. So you're going to hold them accountable by doing that to punish them.
책임을 묻다. Hold someone accountable for something. 그렇다면은 이제 책임을 지다는 take responsibility.
Yes.
같이 알아두시면 되겠죠? 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Spain has become the latest European country to propose a ban on social media for children under 16, a measure that forms part of broader reforms that would hold company executives accountable for illegal or harmful content on their platforms. Here's our final headline.
NASA has set March as the earliest possible launch date for the Artemis II crewed mission to the moon after completing a 2-day wet dress rehearsal for the program's test flight.
미국 항공우주국 나사는 우주 비행사를 달 궤도로 보내는 아르테미스 2호의 발사 최종 리허설 과정을 이틀 동안 진행한 결과 현재로선 가장 빠른 발사 시점이 3월이 될 것이라고 발표했습니다. It was actually going to take place this month, very soon actually, but it's been pushed back.
Yeah, it's been pushed back because they've had some issues. And I want to say I have a little bit of a problem with this sentence because it says NASA has set March as the earliest possible launch date. And March, there's no actual date there.
Okay.
So, whether it's March 22nd or, March 15th, it should say launch time maybe. But, the fact that there isn't an actual date set, I kind of have a little bit of a problem with this sentence.
Well, let's talk briefly about this program. Artemis 2 will be going around the moon. Yeah. It's a manned, or I should say, a crewed spacecraft. Got to be PC. And then, of course, later on, they're going to have Artemis 3, where they will hopefully have people landing on the moon again. And that's going to be historic. But it won't be until 2027 or
gonna be a while.
2028.
Yeah.
Until that happens. 자, 그래요. 원래는 2월 초에 예정이었던 아테미스 2 발사 시점이 3월로 연기가 됐어요. 왜 그랬냐면 wet dress rehearsal에서 연료 누출이 확인이 됐습니다. 자, wet dress rehearsal이 뭔지 좀 설명을 해드려야 될 것 같아요. dress rehearsal이 뭐예요, 일단 선생님?
So a dress rehearsal is a practice with almost as if you're doing the whole thing. So let's say a rehearsal. So we think of this as like a play or a musical. A dress rehearsal would be if you're wearing your costumes to make everything seem exactly as it would be, as if we're performing in front of a live audience. Now, if it's just a rehearsal, not a dress rehearsal, then you might just wear your plain clothes, no makeup, no hair being done. So you're practicing, but it's not like full on everything.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the wet dress rehearsal, as it says here, this is not a term that we typically use, but it's something that they've been using for the NASA projects, meaning that they're practicing, but it's with all the fuel that's in the proper fuel tanks. It's wet. It means all the fuel's in there. So we're not going to actually launch the rockets, but everything else we're going to do as if we were.
네. 자, 그냥 리허설이 있고 드레스 리허설이 있어요. 그냥 리허설은 이를테면은 우리가 뭐 오케스트라라고 칩시다. 이제 오케스트라 여러 가지 리허설을 하잖아요. 그냥 사복 입고 편안하게 청바지에 티셔츠 입고 리허설 하는 거. 이게 이제 그냥 리허설이라면 드레스 리허설은 제대로 이제 턱시도 같은 거, 이제 정장 뭐 이런 이제 원래 진짜 공연처럼 다 차려입고 뭐 메이크업도 하고 그러고 나서 이제 리허설 하는 게 드레스 리허설이니까 어떻게 보면 굉장히 더 중요한 아니면 총 리허설, 최종 리허설 이런 느낌이라고 볼 수 있겠어요. 드레스 리허설. 그래서 실제로 이번 Artemis 2의 드레스 리허설에서도 다른 거는 다 실제와 똑같이 했는데 발사만 안 시켰을 뿐이에요. 근데 wet가 붙는 이유는 이 로켓에 연료를 주입해요. 연료가 액체잖아요. 그래서 wet라는 말을 쓴답니다. 로켓 발사하는 거 있어서 wet dress rehearsal 이제 연료까지 주입을 해서 모든 것을 countdown까지도 다 그 실제처럼 진행을 하는데 여기서 이제 일부 연료 누출이 확인이 돼서 발사가 좀 연기가 됐어요. 오케이. 자, set March as 3월로 정했다라는 표현까지 있습니다.
Yeah, if you set something as March, then this is the date that you are planning for, the time period that you're planning for, because it's set in March, or that's what we have it set as. Another term that we'll use in this way is if something is set in stone. So if it's set in stone, then, you know, it's written into the stone. It's chiseled in. So it's forever. This is the actual plan and we're not going to change it.
여기서 set March as는 이제 3월로 예정됐다지만 set in stone 그러면은요. 그냥 예정된 정도가 아니라 확정이죠. 그럴 때는. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. NASA has set March as the earliest possible launch date for the Artemis 2 crewed mission to the moon after completing a 2-day wet dress rehearsal for the program's test flight. And that's it for the headlines with Jason Lee.